Hi, this is Omair Rana. After watching this video, please make sure you share it, like it, and subscribe to this channel. Uh, yes, share it to the point that Amir Khan gets to see this video.
Assalamu alaikum.
Hello. Walaikum salam.
Hello.
Sal, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Absolutely, Crystal. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? How's this lockdown
I'm-
situation been treating you?
What lockdown, man? We've got so far past that. I've broken the
Yeah,
lockdown so many times, so many different phases. It's phase one, phase two, and phase three.
yeah, but there's still this corona thing going on, though, isn't there?
Of course. We have to be a little careful. Little name, we have
Yeah.
to be very careful.
So let's talk about a little bit about how you've been keeping yourself busy in this corona situation. So how have you been keeping yourself busy then?
Well, phase one was very good. That was like around March, before Ramzan. So I was here in Lahore, where I'm again, and my family was here. So I spent some time voluntarily locking
Okay.
myself in. That was fantastic. Then came Ramzan, so I drove back to Karachi. Yeah, drove back to Karachi, which is, I mean, I love driving down in any case. I spent the entire month of Ramadan in Karachi. My family was here in Lahore. So guess what I had to do on Chandrat? Drive back up to Lahore. So that was phase two. And then I went back to Karachi for a bit again, and came back. I think
Yeah.
phase three started around a month or so ago, and things have been better. I mean, when I came back after for Eid, Choti
Yeah.
Eid, things were seemed to be getting better, but post Eid we had an upsurge, and that's when Pakistan really had a bad. So that was really disturbing for me. And I was very concerned because um, all the people were saying that it's going to spike its apex in mid-August, where we are right now.
Yeah.
So I was really concerned about that. We are very fortunate. I'm really glad, and I must commend that whoever's done the good job has done a good job, including the citizens,
Yeah.
that we have managed to curb it and bring it down where we are. I'm still concerned, to be honest, and from your chat,
Of
I'm
course.
saying again, appealing to all the people out there, पाकिस्तान में ख़ास तौर पे खुदा के वास्ते मास्क पहने सोशल डिस्टेंस रखें ये गई नहीं है ये काम की वजह से हमें फिर दुकानें खोलनी बट वी हैव टू बी वेरी केयरफुल मुहर्रम आने वाला है आई वुड बेग एंड प्लीड all my fellow Mormon friends, please be very careful and responsible.
Of course. And what's one thing that you found annoying in this situation then?
Uh, uh, Ignorance and the arrogance and ignorance by some people. I remember I met some lady who had come into the neighborhood, my neighbor's aunt or something. She wanted to meet me, and very sweet of her, expressed her love and devotion and
Of course.
admiration,
Yeah.
etc. But I remember meeting the neighbor, and he said, and I was there wearing a mask and maintaining social distance, and he said, "जी कोई कोरोना शुरोना नहीं है." I said,
Yeah,
"नहीं नहीं
I've heard.
जनाब,
Yeah, I think a
मैंने कहा
lot.
जनाब है." He said, "नहीं आप किस तरह कह सकते हैं?" And I
Yeah.
told him point blank. I said, "I've lost my class fellow. He's died to corona, to
Yeah.
COVID-19." And he says, "How do you know it was COVID-19?" I said, "Because my other class fellow, our common friend, she was a doctor in the hospital where he
Yeah.
died, and he did not have severe symptoms or severe ailments prior to that. He's my age, and he passed away. So, and there's so many. So, ये जो था ना, that
Yeah.
pisses me. Stupidity pisses me off in any case. So, so I think that has to be one of the greatest sins.
Okay. Okay, and we're gonna start off with a short segment, which is our riddle round.
Okay,
And this is one of
riddle
our.
me this. Hmm.
Okay. So, what has one eye but can't see?
One eye but can't see.
Yeah.
The London Big Eye. I do not want to say the Dajjal. Let's not fuel more conspiracies. One eye but can't see. Uh, Keyhole? No, I don't know.
Close. Something else that
Uh,
has an eye.
but can't see. Something blind. The word blind has an eye but can't see.
No.
That would have been a good answer. I don't know. What has one eye and can't see?
Okay, it's a needle.
Oh, right. Fair
Okay.
enough.
The next one is if I take 3 apples away
Yeah.
and if you have 3 apples and you take two
Yeah.
away,
Okay.
how many apples do you have left?
If I have 3 apples
Yeah. And you
and I
take
take
away.
2 away,
Mm-hmm.
so how many do I have left?
Yeah.
1? And that's not the correct answer, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Can't be that simple. So if I have 3 apples and I take 2 away,
Yeah.
I have 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Okay, what begins with an E and contains 1 letter?
Begins with an E. Ah, envelope.
Yeah,
Ah,
that's correct.
yes.
What month has 28 days?
Every month has 28 days.
I think you're very good with these.
Ah, I got silver hair, man. I'm supposed to live up to it.
What can you catch but never throw?
A cold?
Do you know these from before?
No, I don't. I'm just a very wise man, Sahil.
Okay, so coming on to your drama that's just finished, Pyar
Yeah.
Ke
Pyar
Sadqay.
Ke Sadqay?
Yeah, that's correct. So how did you agree to play the role of Server, like such a negative role? How did you agree to play him?
Excuse me. It wasn't easy, I must confess. It was not easy because superficially, and what has now transcribed as a popular statement as a father-in-law,
Yeah,
being so filthy with his daughter. And I'm just that superficial is just so off-putting.
yeah,
But when I got the script and I got to meet the Anila Mushtaq, who's at Momol, and I got to talk to Farooq Hind, Dada, the director. Um, Obviously, I read the script. I realized, hey, it's not as simple as one would think that was. It was, first of all, a man who fell in love with a young girl who's not his daughter-in-law. She was. I mean, when Sarwar fell in love with her, she was no one.
yeah,
She, on the contrary, was what the taboo could be that he is already married and he's proposing marriage to another one. He's doing that. 2, the taboo could be there's someone who's way younger. 3, the taboo could be that she is the daughter of Munshi Saab. Now, having said that, it is just a taboo.
yeah,
Nothing unethical, immoral, or well, okay, fine, questionably, of course, because he's a married man. He's trying to,
yeah, yeah,
get another young lady. So that aspect definitely is. But otherwise, it wasn't as icky as the superficial thing as a father-in-law. By the way, there too, it's just a loophole. But there too, he's a stepfather.
yeah,
That doesn't justify it. But if I really go technical, um, even in the Islamic sense, a father-in-law who is actually a stepfather,
yeah,
uh, if she's a widow or whatever, divorcee, he could marry her. So it's really, I'm not saying it's justified. In our society, we still don't justify it. But that's exactly the idea. You want to say these things are not justified, but you have to be able to set it up in a way whereby you can say
yeah.
that, look, this is not justified. So it was not easy. But with that, with the team, with the challenge, I thought, all right, let's try and rise to the challenge.
Yeah.
That's what excited me too.
And what was in the script that attracted you first? What dragged your
Uh,
attention in the script?
I think the challenge was the most attractive thing for me at one point, and more than the script, what I was really enjoying was the flexibility that
Yeah,
we as a team could have thanks to Zanjabil and her magnanimous generosity, or creative generosity, as well as Farooq Rinzab, who's the director. So the flexibility we had as a team, both him as a director and me as an actor, and fellow actors, to be able to mold the script
yeah,
to further enhance it. Because unfortunately, Pakistan television scripts don't work naturally so super well. So they're not really thrashed. So you have to do the thrashing, and most of the work was done on set,
of course.
including the last scene of the entire serial was completely improvised. So there's a lot of flexibility in that script. That's what
Yeah.
attracted me.
And how did you feel like working in such a hit project? Did you know, or did you have a feeling before that it would be a hit project?
No, I didn't. I usually am not that. That's never been my instinct in any case. I've never, as a person, been super ambitious. So those who I think, and I'm not passing judgment on it. I'm just saying those who have that natural ability to be super ambitious have this natural ability to be able to sense and see and judge things, how and where they will proceed. I don't have that to begin with, so I don't have those antennas. Nonetheless, I think majority of us in the entire industry world over can never predict what is going to be a hit. We can calculate the possibility, but you can never predict. I mean, did Halle Berry ever think that Catwoman would be such a bomb? You know, when you look at the ingredients, it seems like wow, you know, but it doesn't work. So there are things that you may calculate will work in your favor, and they don't.
Yeah. Okay. And what type of message? I know a lot of people have already judged the character Server, but what message do you personally think that Server had portrayed?
Well, multiple. To begin with, there's the obvious ethical thing: what is right and what is wrong, the judgments that we throw.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make Sarwar the anti-hero. I wanted him to be an anti-hero. I did not want him to be a caricaturized, because the villains in our society don't go around twirling mustaches. You know, they don't go around with those evil laughters. They don't. They are in that slither of normality, and we need to be able to spot that. And even if it superficially seems attractive, it's not right.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted the second message is that no one, and I've been harping upon it, no one is born a server. We create servers in our society. So it's very, very, very important to us as a society, because it takes a village to raise a child, that we do not create circumstances to create these servers.
Of course. And what was the hardest part about playing Server then? Of course, such a negative role.
For me personally,
yeah, for you
the ickiness, the ickiness, that was very difficult for me.
Okay.
I was very fortunate that the real challenge, which I thought would be the greatest challenge, was walking that line, that thin slither line of the anti-hero. But that became easy, as I said, because of Farooq Rain and the script, and of course fellow actors like Omair Rana, etc. That was wonderful. But the ickiness for me was still very challenging.
Yeah. And what was by far your most favorite scene, and then the worst scene that you wouldn't even want to watch ever again? Or
the worst scene for me is a recollection, because the first day I went on set, I had to romance with Atika Odho, and God bless her heart, I love her, she's a dear friend. But because she's a friend, doing that on the first day, cold, jumping in the deep end cold, seems really uncomfortable, you know, although she's as professional as one can be about it. And then the same day, I had to play this, you know, the icky scene with the Yumna. And Yumna, again, God bless her heart, what a sweetheart that she is. But again, the first day, that comfort zone, as it is, one needs to build up. It was just very uncomfortable. The best, my favorite moments, and one of the scenes was actually edited, is of the last episode, is with the mother.
Yeah.
So for me, there are one or two couple of scenes with the mother which were my absolute favorites. Yeah. And the last scene where he says goodbye to her, for me, was one of the favorites. And one more scene which I love doing was when Munshiji dies. He goes to his mother and he's outraged that why did he die? He wasn't supposed to die. And then he confesses and spills his guts out, that I feel like saying, I was not even worthy of love. Who am I complaining to? Even my mother does not know who I am, you know? So that side I really enjoyed doing those scenes.
Okay, and the last episode then we also, I think, on Thursday when it came out at 8 o'clock. So seeing Server like become that softy from that bully type, where he says to Abdullah that you're my Bilay and like I control you and everything. So what did you personally think of that scene when Abdullah slaps Server?
I'll give you some BTS stuff also.
Okay.
I love Bilal. I so admire Bilal. I personally think if ever I get the opportunity, a little more opportunity, which I want to create, Bilal and I could be best friends. He's that kind of person. I love him for that. God bless, and he's a wonderful actor, as you see. So on the set, we have a lot of fun. This is the third serial in which I've been pretty harsh with Bilal's character. And when it came to this scene, I told the director, I was like, check this out. I'm going to tease Bilal, see what I'm going to do. So when the scene came and I said, okay, Farooq bhai, I don't think, Abdullah really needs to punch, push, and slap Sarwar. Does he? Bilal went berserk. Like, ये क्या बात हुई? आपने मुझे इतना मारा इस एपिसोड में छोड़े, सीरियल में छोड़े, आपने दूसरा ही मारा, एक में तो जान से मार दिया, आप एक थप्पड़ दिखा, ये फारूक भाई इस दादा ये फेयर नहीं. So he went on a rant. But that scene, that moment, that character for me was the first pivotal turn, because it has to be a shock. It has to be something which he just cannot fathom and absorb and expect. And albeit he's in absolute desperation, but he can't see it. For me, that was the prelude, because it could go either way. And I love the way Farooq Rin directed and edited that scene, because when he's recovering, there's a moment of aghastness that the audience shares with Sarwar. And they're like, uh-oh, now he's going to come back and just kill him. It's one of those things when your mother really tells you off, and then you say something snide, like, oh, okay, fine, he's dead, Kul kabe bhi Abdullah ke bataye. But for me, that was the prelude to the actual death of Sarwar's will and his ego. It is when he sees the hate in the eyes of the girl that he loved. And that could only have happened when Abdullah could take that courage. So that for me was the internal dialogue of Sarwar was that at that moment.
Okay, and finishing off with Pyar Ke Sadqay then, what was your most favorite day or some memory on set that you can remember? A funny story from set.
From set, well, there were a couple. I can't. I mean, I've been. It's not one of those things I've been like dreading and dragging my feet to work or something, because all kinds of work that we do becomes really challenging.
Of course.
I really can't pinpoint a day. I really can't. I just the fact that whenever we got together and had a laugh and enjoyed ourselves, and as I speak, I'm reliving those days. I'm reliving all those moments that I went to that location and this location and here and there. They were all great. They were all fun. I really can't pinpoint and say this one was the outstanding.
Okay, and lastly, what people have been waiting for then, can you do that whistle sound of...
Oh, yes. Now, it goes something like this.
Okay, and now coming on to Churails. So
all right, yes.
So I don't think a lot of people have spoken to you about Churails then, because it's fairly new. And I think people are loving your character as Jamil. So
loving, that's very interesting choice of words, loving indeed.
Yeah, because of course you've got like two different sides. You've got like that positive side with your children, and then you've got that negative side like behind the closed doors.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a mix and match there. But so how did you feel like when the script was offered to you?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Finally, I felt as if I'm getting an opportunity to jump head in to a script which is creative, it's crazy, it's challenging. The plot is so well twisted yet tied so well. I just loved it. And I love whodunits in any case. The character was, as you said, complicated but complete. The contribution the character has to the plot is significant, to say the least. And so I really, really, really enjoyed it. I read the script so many times before picking up the phone and saying, okay, Asim, I'm in.
Okay, and nobody knows your character better than you or Asim Abbasi, who wrote this script. So can you explain a little bit more about your character in detail?
I'll put it in a bit of a relevant, very fresh context. My son was reading up as an assignment about George Orwell in his grade 8 assignments. And we were talking about why George Orwell wrote what he wrote, what kind of experiences went to. So when you look back at George Orwell's life, he born into not a very high rank officer in the military in India, but he moved to a preparatory school, which was very elitist, and people were very harsh and cruel. And then he saw what happens in places like Eton
and the colleges that people go to, that
Yeah.
literati class, the elite class of the strata of England, and he saw the cultures and values, and this is exactly what Jamil and
Yeah.
his crew have gone through. I have some bit of an idea of what that is like,
Yeah.
very vaguely, but a very crazy bit of an idea. So you see how those mindsets operate, and that culture operates, the cult operates, the codes, the values that they function about, and how aloof they are about the other stratas in life, the common people or the ordinary people, as Orwell used to say. So that was something that I was looking into from what Jamil was going through. And Jamil then bringing that here into Pakistan, you understand how someone who has had that elitist over there is really preserving it very well over here, because it's very easy to preserve over here. This is where you've got the feudal, aristocratic, culture that you can easily move around in as well.
Yeah.
And then when you plant yourself in Karachi, yet even more, because there is greater space for stratification. So I thoroughly enjoyed that, to be able to maneuver between those.
Okay. And like we said before, it's such a positive, but then there's a negative side, like you are telling your children, like, in a disciplined way how to live, and you're telling them to grow up and do their own jobs and let them man up. But on the other side, what you've been doing, like behind who's opposite you, Sarah, you behind her back, you've been doing things.
Servant's character.
Yeah. So how do you feel about this? Like, on one side you're positive and the other you're negative.
The character, just like any human being who's going through such a situation, never sees it as positive and negative. He or she sees all of them as positive. They're all justified to him or her. That's what they are. So Jamil justifies all of these things. He justifies absurd things by the end of it as well, that you get to hear. So for him, it's not an issue. For me as an actor, yes, I can see those as a positive and negative. But if I have to play the character, I'll have to be able to find how he will justify it. But me, again, coming back out of the character into the actor perspective as Omair, not Jamil, I see he is still disciplining them within the same conduits of the same values. You have to be the best version of yourself. You have to be pure. You have to be better. You have to be excellent. You have to be perfect. And the perfections, and the definition of perfection is what he holds, what he has passed down, what he's learned. By the way, if you do draw a bridge between Jamil and Sarva, the two scripts, you will see the role of a mother as well, playing very significant role over here. Again, comes down to the upbringing. While his mother's codes that he's taken down, and his father, but again, boarding school, in reinforcing those values, and then the patron that he takes on, the mentor. So again, those are again the similar things that he justifies. These are the values he stands by.
Of course. And do you feel like such scripts as Churails should be brought into the Pakistani drama industry and, the film industry in Pakistan?
No, but yes. Why do I say no? Not as it is, because they're two different markets, and the audience will not be able to comprehend things the way they are. Again, for example, if I go, because it's fresh in my mind, George Orwell would talk about complicated societal, political, issues like revolution, but he would make it simplified for the people, right? So yeah, if you want to take the audience for the common people, for the common man, the ordinary people, the ordinary life, then you have to make it. No, I'm not saying insult their intellect. I'm not saying that. I'm saying taste for the language, for the culture, you'll have to change those things. However, I do say yes, because it is different. It is talking about so many other things that society in Pakistan can and has had a conversation on, beyond the stuff that we are running to the ground and below on Pakistan television. We are getting really desperate with content. So yes, we should explore something new and creative and different, definitely. But adapted still for television.
Okay.
Or film.
And of course, this project, this web series has gone to another country and not Pakistan. So how do you feel about that? Because a lot of people have talked about these controversies that, it's not in our own country, it's going abroad, and the people abroad are getting the benefit out of it, not Pakistan.
First of all, I'm a very patriotic patriotic Pakistani. I got my patriotism, like yourself, you can relate to this, as an overseas Pakistani.
Yeah.
And I lived and I'm part of Pakistan, and I completely adore it. When it comes to the commerce aspect of it, I would want Pakistan to have platforms, not equal, but even bigger than what the world has to offer. We will need to get our house in order. A lot of it.
Of course.
A lot of it is being done on private and individual levels, but it needs to be governed at a state level. It has to be governed by a state level. The state has to take responsibility. I'm still talking about it. I've always talked about it. I've been talking into the corridors of the state, and I'm going. I do it now. I'll do it again and again, and I'm trying to see how I can make whatever push and influence towards that, and I will carry on doing that. Having said that, I still don't think it has to be us versus them.
Yeah.
I still think it has to be us with them. And it comes to the creative outlet, as long it is not being exploitative of my people of Pakistan, I think it's fine. However, for example, I would say more than welcome to have foreign talent come to Pakistan, or do foreign talent come to Pakistan to do work, like commercials. Like we've recently had the wonderful, gorgeous lady who played the role in Etrugul, now be hired as a talent for, free transfer, yeah. But I've always stood that if you do, more than welcome. But it is just like import substitution. You're importing. Tax them higher. Jazz should pay more for it. Because we have a lot of local talent to give to Pakistan and to be able to produce that. So yeah, fine. You want to go for an international talent? Please go ahead and do it, but pay much more for it. This is a model that even India uses and other countries uses as well. So should we? So we need to regulate these things. And above all, lastly, is if you really want culture as an industry to grow, first of all, recognize it as an industry.
Yeah.
And two, make sure that all the catchment areas have been paid due attention to, so that the industry is streamed across. So if I want to talk about, say, wheat and sugar, I go down to the farm. I go down to the roots of it, and I get all the industries. Abhi hum construction ki baat kar rahe, each industry goes all the way down. So if you talk about culture and entertainment, go all the way down and take the entire stream and make that as a part of an industry and pay more attention to it.
Of course. And on Churails set, so how long did it take to shoot the full series that you did? And
75 days. It was a miracle. I'll tell you, as a producer, as an actor, as an outsider, it is phenomenal what they have done in 75 days. I think it was 75. Yeah, 75 days. Horrible heat, in which Karachi was flooded for 3 days also, by the way. It's terribly difficult. Ramzan bhi tha beech mein, Eid bhi thi. And of course, lots of people in 75 days is a huge team. Lots of people have personal challenges and issues as well. To manage that, to 75 days, I would request all of you to please a great applause to the entire crew that was behind this, which are not there in front of. Some of them are, by the way, as cameos, part of the team, but most of them are not. So really, really kudos to this young, vibrant team.
And what's your most favorite memory on set of Churails?
My majority of my work was with Sabat Gilani.
Yeah.
And it was an honor and a pleasure to work with her. She's a fantastic actress. I've always considered her superbly graceful and a great talent. And I remember when we were doing her script reading the first time online with Asim and Sarvat and myself, they were in Karachi, and I happened to be in Lahore because I was moving to Karachi. I was absolutely enamored, and I said, thank you very much. I'm so glad that I'm doing this. So I think for me, the greatest scenes that we did was the climax. And for me, that night, because we shot all night. And I don't want to give spoilers, but that for me was one of the greatest challenges also. Because for me, there's one moment in which Jameel and Sarwar are just having a stare-off. For me, that is the epitome of the entire series, for the plot and the character and the relationships. And that had to work. And everything thereon had to work. I did have supernatural support. It was a full moon. For those who have seen Churails will understand what I mean by that. There was a full moon, and it really, really helped me. So the great magnetic power of the full moon helped. So that night, all night shoot, very difficult, very hot, very uncomfortable, very stinky and sweaty. So I apologize to Sabat in advance. Well, again, but it was a great, challenging, creative night that we had.
So what's the most favorite role that you've played then so far as an actor of course, you've got such a career and you've been working in the industry for quite a long time now. So what's personally your favorite role that you've played?
Hamlet. My favorite role that I've ever played was when I was in uni and I did Hamlet, and I really, really enjoyed it.
Okay, and who would it be a dream to work with then?
Oh, now I'm thinking international. I think Omair Khan needs to give me a call because he's also copied my hairstyle, and I admire him for that as well. I'd already admired him, and now since he's admiring my hairstyle, it's like, hey, dude, Omair, give me a call, man. On the way back from Turkey, perhaps.
Any upcoming projects, dramas, web series, films, maybe?
I've done a film with Sarmat Kusert,
Okay.
and I come back with Nimra Bucha in that and Sania Saeed. And I have Sabah Kamar with me in that movie as well. And
So
I'm
is
really
that
looking forward to
movie
its
Kamli?
release.
Is that movie
That's the
Kamli?
one. That's the one.
Okay.
So you do your homework well. I like that. I'm also shooting a serial
Okay.
with the great director Kashif Nisar. And in that, I have another Churail with me. I mean, I have Nibra in that Churail there. I've got Yasra Rizvi in this serial. It's called Dil Na Ummeed To Nahi. Again, something very close to my heart. It's a cause-oriented thing. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. And Yumna's in it as well. So yeah.
Okay.
So it's like a meeting point between Churails and
Yeah.
Pyar Ke Sadqay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
those are the two projects.
Okay. And lastly, just before we go, what's one message that you'd like to give to your fans then?
I would request everyone to be to grow more empathy. I would like you to slow down. I'd like you to pause. I'd like you to take time to
Yeah.
crush things. And I would like you to humanize things. I'd like you to spend some focus and true attention, suspending all agenda. Be humble, not your agenda, others. And try to feel what the others might feel. And
Yeah.
when you do that, I can assure you, your first sign would be that you have suspended judgment and you have developed respect.
Yeah.
And that will be your guiding principle of what you should say and what you shouldn't say, or how you should say it, or when you should say it, to whom you should say, all those things. Insaniyat ki zarurat hai, empathy.
Yeah. Okay, so finally, thank you for coming on my show today. It was a pleasure having you, of course, talking about Churails, Pyar Ke Sadqay. A lot of people were asking to talk about these topics, especially as they were such hit projects. I wish you the best of luck for the rest of Churails' success that's coming for you. So, yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much, Sahil. It was an absolute pleasure. God bless you, man. I love the way that you carry things forward. My prayers to you and your family, your loved ones, and your friends. Stay well, stay safe, and break a leg, as we say in theatre.
Same with you. Stay safe and take care. Bye.
Cheers. Khudafis.
Khudafis.